Well, then let's jump in. I want to praise Edu, Wonka, and Zepti for helping to make some awesome proposals that are up there being voted on. I want to praise Livy, Tam, and Mitch and Lauren for representing the TEC in East Denver at the various events. So many talks, so many cool things. I want to definitely dish praise to the event organizers in Denver. That's like John Poller and Danny and Simona and uh, who else is doing it? Steve from Dow Denver. There's so many cool events happening. So major praise there. And I want to praise Tam for hosting a great Stewards Council on power. Honestly, I feel like that was so good it could be a podcast. Uh, and I want to praise Acid Laser for always pulling off awesome graphics. I'll pass it to Acid Laser.
Thank you, Griff. So I want to praise to Gustavo for being very helpful and constant in all the comms teams. Praise to Nugan for all the research he does finding praise bugs. Praise to Chewy for all his support and release the team funding proposal, and for burning all the spammers. Praise to Melmanu for always be there and all his support and good vibes in every project he's involved. Praise Juanca for being an awesome leader at Gravity and all the projects he's working on for the working group. And praise to Gideon and Grit for keep working on the Convert app. And I'll pass it to Livia.
Oh, thanks. So for Mount Manu, I already typed my praise in the chat, so you don't need to transcribe this. So I praise Durga Das for raising the importance of a power structure discussion, Nate for sharing his thoughts on power and the TC with me, and for giving me advice on how to move on with cultural challenges, Tim for quickly including the power topic in the council meeting today, Sid Code for being a wizard of great connections. Thanks for all the bridges you're building. Shuga for engaging in self-gov again. It's great to have you back. Loie and Alp for creating a wonderful space for us to share about conflict resolution experiences and meet peers in the space. Eugene for having me in his podcast to talk about culture with Set Frey. So Sister for her leadership in the Omega Working Group. YGG and Octopus for the high quality of information and knowledge they drop every week in the Governance Research Group. And I pass to ratio 13.
Thank you. Praise Edu for today, for the one-on-one session today. Praise Tam also for the meeting as well today on a dynamic on power. And I'd like to praise Zepti and Ivy for the continued assistance in the Transparency Working Group. And I'd like to praise Durgadas for bringing up some interesting information. And I will pass it. So I'll pass it back to Tam. Tam, can you pass it to somebody? I'm not on the screen right now. Thank you.
I haven't gone yet, so I'll take it. I want to praise Durgadas. We just had a really great discussion for a good 40 minutes after the Stewards Council, and he's a real fighter for the community and a real believer in our culture and really instrumental to the culture that we have. So for his persistence and insistence and all that he brings in terms of his frameworks and his thinking and his compassion and kindness, I'd like to praise Durgadas. And for the people he's fighting for. So the 14 new people in orientation this week: Ale Border, Buzzman, David RM, NT, Kinda Arthur, Kyle, Margarita Dave, Mario Rosso, Miguel B, Monica Zing, Zabiria, Nabirius, Rohit Malikar, Tamgwin, and Usama are showing up to orientation this week. And I'll pass it to Bianca.
Hello. I praise Morgan for being so open and wonderful and take care of themselves. I praise Juan for stepping up and assuming the gravity coordination. I praise Innovator for being so involved in gravity. I praise Leanne and Jeremy for leading our practicing group. And I will pass it to Juan.
Thanks, Bianca. Yeah, I would like to praise Lowy and Alp for inviting us to talk about conflict management in DAOs, and also for carrying that flag across diverse communities. I would also like to praise Livy for assisting to that same event with me about conflict management. I would like to praise Durga Das for his continued support to Gravity. Mount Manu also for speaking up for the people and for being very transparent in his intentions with the different interactions with everyone in the community. Septi and Acid Laser for taking responsibilities in Gravity. I would also like to praise Sam for participating with us in a hackathon, and Griff for his leadership. Also, Bianca for stepping up in Gravity. And I will pass it to Griff. Did you go? Yeah, you were the first one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will pass it to David.
Yeah, hey folks, morning. I want to praise everybody who participated in the conflict sharing yesterday. That was pretty powerful. So, Loey, Wonka, Livia, amazing stuff. And thank you for that. I want to praise Tam and Edu for heading up a Communitas group and staying persistent and committed throughout all kinds of dramas and technical issues. Thanks for letting me hang around at the edges, and big thanks to Mount Manu, praise to Mount Manu as well for helping out everywhere he does, and especially his spoken word magic. Love the spoken word stuff. That over to Chewy. Praise Chewy too for making an amazing comms group. Just amazing, Chewy. Thanks.
Thank you, David. Okay, I'd like to praise Anatech and Angie Berry for their beginnings as meme masters in the TE Academy team. I can't praise Angela and Patty enough for their guidance and feedback supporting the comms team DAO. Nate and Gideon for the first steps to form the Writers Guild. Tam and Griff for their guidance through confusing times. Your leadership is irreplaceable to our community. Praise infinitely Mount Manu and Acid Laser for their support through tough times. Mertz, Mitch, Noggin, and YGG for their participation in the proposal inverter, and Gustavo for making his talents and knowledge available to the TEC. And I'll pass it to Noggin. Yeah.
Thanks, Chewy. Well, I want to praise Christopher for taking care of his kids, and Livia for jumping in, leading the awards meeting yesterday. I also want to praise Acid Laser for his input and his help while pinning down this praise issues. I want to praise Juanca for bringing up those issues in the first place, and Zepti for always being in the meetings and giving valuable input and recording it all. And I was late. I don't know who to pass it to. I pass it back to Griff.
Nice. Gustavo, did you go yet?
No, not yet. But yeah, I can go. Thank you. Actually, this is the time I take notes. So I'm going to read them. It's a lot of praise to give. So I'm going to give praise to Pam, Levy, Juanca, Durgadas, Edu for their openness and always saying what they think and being so welcoming and promoting great open culture. I want to praise Mount Manu for always helping with questions and telling me who to go to and encourage me with new ideas. I want to praise Chuy for promoting new comms projects and including me on them. And I want to praise Escanor for his dedication to the translations team. And I can see everyone, so I'm going to pass it back to you, Griff, so you can pass it on to somebody that hasn't gone yet.
Thanks, Gustavo. Let's throw it to Eduardo. Oh, wait, is Eduardo here?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, there you are.
Thank you so much. I want to give praise to Manu and Jean for helping with the guides and bringing so much people to our orientation call. I want to give praise to Dugaras for jumping in and with his honesty and his openness to improve our systems. I want to give praise to Nick especially for always supporting Communitas on the edges and always bringing support to everyone. I want to dish praise to David to always keep the interest on. I want to dish praise to Tam for always supporting and always touching with empathy. And I want to dish a special praise to Nate for all the things he keeps pushing, even though you have parenthood, you have so much things going on. Thank you so much for your grace and your time. And I will pass it on to I don't know who, because I don't know Bianca. I will pass it on.
Oh, she already went, but it was a good try. It was a good try. I'll throw it to John Jonas. Oh, John, are you there? Okay, let's try Nate. Oh no, Nate left too. How about Mert?
Thank you. I wanted to praise Tamara, Griff, Livia, Juanca, Durgadas, and all Zeptimus, all the people that joined the discussion today on Stewards Council. I wanted to praise Mitch, Nuggan, and Chewy for the engagement in proposal inverter. Also, I wanted to praise Mount Mano for helping me out in my way in TC. And lastly, I want to praise Solsista for being always the voice of wisdom. So I wanted to pass it to Mettedo.
Hi everyone. I'm not very much aware of what's going on, so I cannot praise in detail, but I can maybe praise Christopher, Optimus, and Mitch for their work with the quantification. And I can pass it over to Bianca, maybe.
And everyone wants to pass it to you, Bianca. It's the Buffy corn, I think.
I can talk more. I can talk more if you need to.
Yeah. Hey, do you have some more praise to give? I mean, this is 2 requests.
Cool, right? I will praise Acid Laser for trying to help me with creating a pop.
Nice.
Thanks.
I can pass it for you. There aren't too many people left. How about Miguel? Oh, did Miguel step out? How about Zepti?
Thanks, Riff. Yeah, I want to dish praise to Libby for the enthusiasm on the reward analysis to study our community structure. I want to dish big praise to Frischel for helping me with treasury management. I want to dish praise to GH for keep working on the Endure analytics and Turnout for jumping out to help him and review the code. I want to dish praise to Mitch and Griff for kicking off our first voting decision. I want to dish praise to Nate and Tam for working on the TC source. I want to dish praise to Ivy to stay until very late to engage with the commons. I want to dish praise to Ratio for engage with the transparency working group. I want to dish praise to Mount Manu for the weekly updates. And I want to dish praise to Juan for the coordinating gravity in their way to the decentralization. And I'll pass it to you, Griff.
Nice. Okay, I'll give Miguel and John Jonas a chance. Do either of you want to speak up? Oh, John Jonas isn't here. Miguel? No dice? Okay, then let's go to Margarita Dave. Oh, no. Yeah, Margarita Dave? No? How about Mario? Do you have any praise to dish?
Yeah. Thank you, Griff. Well, I want to praise Acid Laser for guide the animation and video production team meeting on Monday. And also to Mon Manu for the reward system. I believe I received a prize from him, so thank you. Okay, back to you, Griff. Thank you.
Cool, and I think the last one I have left is Nate. It's been a dicey trying to keep track of this one, so speak up if you haven't gone. Take it away, Nate.
Yeah, sorry about that. Been having issues with Discord. I want to praise Chewy for just displaying a lot of leadership this week. I really appreciate him and everything that he does. I want to praise Tam and Livy and Durgadas for just managing lots of different situations in the way you have. I also want to extend that gratitude and praise to Griff as well. And yeah, that's it right now. I have a full list I'm going to have to write down, but I'll keep it short since we're at 11:17. Okay, pass it back to you, Tim.
Cool. Thanks, Nate. And thank you all for coming for the auspicious 69th community call. How exciting is that? As you know, I think almost everyone in here knows that you can dish praise on Discord. You don't have to wait till Thursday. You can do it any day, anytime. Just !praise and be lavish with your praise. The reward system is still spinning up, but eventually that praise will turn into TEC tokens and probably even reputation tokens eventually. So super cool process. Don't be shy. Use your power. Also, hey, say cheese. We like to take screenshots once in a while of the people who are around. So turn on your cameras and spark a big smile. Turn on your cameras and smiling while I read off the mission. It might take a while. We have a huge mission in front of us. Our goal is to become a Schelling point for the token engineering community. Our economic layer will fund projects that discover, develop, and proliferate the best practices for engineering safe tokenized economies, while aligning our collective success with the individual benefit of token holders. Our social layer is even more important, as it will unite the token engineering field around ethical principles, standards, tools, and methodologies that emerge as this nascent field advances. Thank you so much. Look at all those smiling faces. That's great. Thank you all so much for that. Now you can go back to being a non. It's fine. So one of the ways that we stay all lovey-dovey, of course, we have praise, and of course, we have the smiling time on the calls. You know, we have a good time. But behind the scenes, we have like a force of nature. Gravity is keeping us all together. So if you ever see some kind of conflict, you know, you can tell the active gravitons on Discord. Just send them a DM. Hey, there's this issue. I might need some help dealing with it. Also, you know, gravity is like the second option. You can always go confront the conflict yourself and try to resolve it. That's really the magic. Gravity is within all of us here. But if you don't feel comfortable with that, you can also fill out a type form anonymously. The link is in the slides here. And you can say, hey, you know, there's this issue and I think it could be resolved better and it's not completely there. And behind the scenes, we have some magic workers trying to help transform the conflict into something that can improve our community. And also one more other announcement I'm going to start adding to our mix. We have some votes. You don't have to vote on these things, but if you want them to pass, you probably should. If you have TEC tokens, the Gravity 6-month funding proposal is up. That's the first proposal over here. It's on its way. It needs a lot more support to pass. One that's much closer to passing is actually Communitas. It is rising fast and will pass eventually. So you could pile in on Communitas if you'd like that to pass. Also, something that there's 3 days left to vote to reduce to follow the Goldilocks original plan, which is to slowly reduce the spread on the entry and exit fees on our bonding curve. Right now, they're 22% and 2%. And if this proposal passes in the next 3 days, then the entry fee will become 20%, and the exit tribute will be 3%. So don't be shy. Go use your power. Go get and rock the vote. And with that, I'll pass it to the Steward of Stewards. Tam, take it away.
Cool. I didn't realize there were so many beards hiding underneath these screen offs, but that was fun to see. So cool. So we are in the middle of Sprint 27, which goes from February 4th to 17th. And I'll quickly share my screen. If you click on this link that says Sprint Board, you will wind up in our ZenHub board, which is just a overlay onto our GitHub issues. And if you want to see what we're working on in the sprint, you just drop down to the sprint that we're in, which is the 4th to the 17th. All of our working group calls are on this slide. So every Wednesday we have a Stewards working group call. Everyone's welcome to join, though. It's not reserved strictly just for stewards. A council every other Thursday. The alternating Thursday is our sprint retrospective and our sprint planning every other Friday. It's all on the calendar. And on the next slide, so the stewards funding passed. I just want to say thank you to everyone who voted for it. Distributions will start in the beginning of March for the month of February. And as part of the proposal, we have a statement of commitment period, which is open between now and the 15th of February for stewards to basically confirm that they are interested in engaging the role of stewardship and continuing to do so. It doesn't mean that they have to commit to the full 6 months. It's just that at this moment they are committed, and we'll see what happens over the next few months. Some people may need to leave, or some new people may come on. It's not rigid or fixed, is what I really want to say. After that, today we had the Stewards Council, and I have to say, I prepared this on power dynamics earlier today because there's been a number of people talking about power, not necessarily power dynamics or unevenness, but just power in things that are happening on crypto Twitter. Sorry, would you mind muting? I'm not even sure who it is, but thanks. Metodo, would you mind muting? So, power dynamics in crypto Twitter, in the TEC, on a macro level, on a micro level with your family. There just seems to be a lot of shifting power and questions about power. So it was the topic of our council. And just beforehand, I was in the fireside chat for Kernel Block 5, which I'm participating in. And the guest was Vitalik Buterin. And at one point, somebody, the host asked him point blank, what do you think power is? How do you understand power, especially as it relates to governance? And I was like, I wanted to scream, oh my God, we're about to talk about that. That's our agenda for the Stewards Council. And it was in relation to this soul-bound post that he posted in January. It was very interesting actually to hear his perspective, especially around non-transferable tokens in order for there to be reputation that is tied to governance rather than buying ways in and out of governance. In the Stewards Council, we talked about power and power dynamics. We started with an opening question about where power comes from. And then we had just this list of questions that people could riff on a little bit, whatever really spoke to them. There's some interesting things that came out of this. You know, we don't all have the same perspective, but we all listened and heard each other. And I think that's probably the most important. I'd encourage people to hop into this article if they're interested. Hey, Soul Sister, can you mute, please?
Oh, so sorry.
It's okay. Cool. And so, so it's very interesting. I encourage people to hop in and read it. I tried to take the best notes I could, but you can also, of course, watch it on our YouTube channel. Nate is covering the Stewards Working Group for the next 2 weeks. Yay! Thank you, Nate, for doing that. Also, he's covering the next 2 weeks because I'm pretty much going to be completely absent in East Denver, also with my family. So if you will be in East Denver, please reach out. There is Shelling Point. I'm on a panel with other great people too. Not this one. Hold on. Here at 12:30 with Lauren, another steward in the TEC, as well as James Waugh and Kevin Seagraves. So if you are in Denver and in the Shelling Point, please do come see us. And then East Denver later the same day at about 2:40 at the Art Hotel. If you're in Denver anyway, just please reach out to me and other people in the TEC. I think it'll be great for us to meet in real life. What's on the Stewards' mind this week? We talked about a bunch of stuff. We had our normal temperature check. We talked about the votes on gardens very quickly, the statement of commitment, the upcoming presentations of the Token Engineering Academy and Token Engineering Commons Intro to TE. The next one will be on February 16th, so it's coming up. If you're not signed up, sign up for it. It's a really great introduction to token engineering. It is pretty friendly to U.S. time zones. It's going to be 11 a.m. Denver time. We talked about what Nate will be covering, the proposal inverter, deep skills, getting the NFT physical prints to the top 10 hackers, which Eduardo will be spearheading. Olivia raised power structures and decentralization. We talked about that a little bit, and some working group updates, the pretty standard stuff. I just mentioned the token engineering the intro to token engineering is happening on the 16th of February. I think the best place to find, I'll drop a link in our general channel. So if anyone's interested in signing up, they can. There's also a Common Stack AMA tomorrow, and we're inviting some people from the Token Engineering Commons. So Angela, Gideon, YGG, myself, and Livia will be on the panel, and it will be moderated by Akene from the Common Stack. So if you are interested in joining that AMA, please do. And lastly, retweet equals love. So do hop on to the Token Engineering, to the TEC Twitter, and perhaps we can get Gravity some love. So my recommendation for the tweet of this week is going to be to retweet Gravity DAO. And with that, it's my great honor to pass to Gravity DAO's steward, Juanca.
Thank you, Tam. Well, for me, it's really an honor to be stewarding this working group and to be carrying this flag of conflict management in the space. This week, we were invited by the people from Gitcoin to a talk about this. And I am just happy that we are being more aware about the importance of these tools in our socioeconomic systems. And I have this quote that is that the quality of an institution is not determined by whether or not it has conflicts, but how it manages to address them. So it's a lie that we will get to a point where we don't have any conflicts, but it's rather an effort that we are doing to have both immediate responses to the things that happen, but also long-term strategic change processes that can improve the initial conditions that caused the conflict. So yeah, we are building competence and all for all the people, and also providing more professional services for conflict management. That's why I would really like the support for all the token holders to continue supporting Gravity. And one of the cool things that I wanted to say today is that next Tuesday we will start our new education cycle for 2022. I know we've been having a lot of coordination calls, but a big component in Gravity is the educational component. So we will be having practice groups, and we will be testing liberating structures and deep democracy frameworks with Lynn and Jeremy. So everyone is invited. It will be at Tuesdays after the SoftGov call, and it will be super interesting because they will be developing tools to improve and facilitation in calls and coordination. So yeah, everyone is invited, and yeah, we are trying to have an important and a sustainable impact for Web3 communities. And the last thing that I want to say, Griff, you can pass to the next slide, is that finally we delivered the POAP for the 2021 generation of Gravitons. So Bianca might have texted you if you appear on this list, sending you a claim link for the POAP. So please, this is really important to have accountability for who is the people that have been participating in the project, and also maybe for retroactive rewarding with the growth of the project. So yeah, with that, I will pass to Softcop.
Oh, thanks. Sorry, I think the order changed a little bit. I was not expecting it was coming next. let me get here. So yeah, we had some great discussions in SoftGov this week. So we discussed transparency of credentials, something that Zaptimus raised, and we were listening people's opinion about whether addresses should be attached to names in the multi-sigs that we have or that we might come to have. So laser tag, for example, and how do we deal with transparency of credentials in general? And we gathered some good notes, and Zaptimus is going to make a post about it so more people can leave their comments if they want. And advice process pamphlets. So Nate started to draft some pamphlets to educate people more easily about advice process. This was the first draft he had. The discussions went a little over, so we didn't have the chance to look into this in the SoftGov this week, but hopefully next week, and to elaborate this in a way that it's very easy for people to navigate what they need to use advice process. And also updates on the decision-making post in the forum. So Ben's accepted to take this on. He already started drafting the updates, so we just need to put the params from conviction voting and TAO voting, and also to change the information about snapshot. So that's the next update, that we won't be using quadratic voting on snapshot for a while until we have an identity solution, because now that everyone can buy TEC, people could just like buy TEC in multiple addresses and use those to vote on snapshot. So we wouldn't be really resistant. Like, it wouldn't make so much sense to continue using quadratic voting only on snapshot. So we'll continue with the parameters that we already have. We'll just use ranked choice voting instead of quadratic ranked choice voting, and single choice voting instead of quadratic voting. And then we're just updating that in the forum post. And that's it for SoftGov, and I'll pass to Communitas.
Thank you, Livy. Hello, everyone, again. Communities working group, just to briefly introduce everyone, we have three main calls. We have a working group sync that happens on Monday, 8 p.m. CET. We have the orientation call that happens 6 p.m. CET. And in the orientation call, we try to welcome everyone. And in the last two orientation calls, Griff joined and answer a lot of questions regarding augmenting bonding curve and bonding curve, how you can implement it, and so on. So it's a nice space to welcome everyone, and it's also a nice space for you to connect with newcomers. So if you feel like joining, please join the orientation calls. So you can also talk about your experience on the TEC. You can connect with other people in the token engineering field. The third call that we used to do, it's a TEC Lounge, and we have changed it actually to 4 p.m. CET. I have to change this. I'm sorry. We changed it because we tend to have conflict with the sprint planning on Fridays. So we changed it so we can have the timing correct. So you're welcome to the TEC Lounge. The TEC Lounge is a safe space for everyone. It's a space to just talk about yourself, the things you watched this week, or whatever else you feel like sharing. And the idea is that we can bond over this safe space. So you're more than welcome to join, and at any time that you feel like joining. And then on the updates for this week, our proposal for funding is still up on Gardens. If you have TC tokens, please go there and vote for us, if you feel like, of course. And then we are working on FAQs. So if you guys, any of you have any question that you feel was not answered properly, or that you feel that you have seen often, you can share it with me or share on the Communitas text channel, so we can build this FAQ that was started by Gideon. And the idea is that we create this sort of easy to go place for questions if you have them. Then we also drafted a contributors agreement. A contributors agreement in this case is for the Communitas working group only so far. And the idea of this contributor agreement is to, on the spirit of Eleanor Ostrom, to have clear boundaries and to have a very clear mindset on what to expect. And the idea is that we will keep drafting this contributors agreement for the contributors of the Communitas working group, and we are using it to as a test also to determine certain roles and needs that need certain responsibilities, and that we sort of need them to be sort of present. So that's a little bit about that document. We also, I think Tam already mentioned, we have this deep skills contact to try to help Communitas working group and maybe another working group on the process of finding people with adequate skills for the organization and how we can sort of help and take them by the hand. We also this week we had a sync with TEC Academy, and the idea with Angela and Patricia was to sort of help them with the onboarding process. And we'll lay out some brainstorming, and we will take back from the Steward Council results of this coordination. And the idea is that the TEC Academy, we can sort of have a better connection with them, and we can nurture both communities. They were requesting help with their onboarding process, so we are expecting to help them by handing over also our tooling, in this case, the bots that were created by ViveIV. And the idea is to sort of help the TE Academy and welcoming new people, understanding who are their users on their Discord and so on. So that's a little bit of what happened, and it's an ongoing process. All these people that you see on the screenshot are the people who joined the orientation call. A lot of them came thanks to Manu and Gina, our guides. Also, a bunch of them came from Common Stack, and a lot of them also came from what was the course? I think it was the gravity conflict resolution that was held on Gitcoin. So you see the sort of the community of the TEC, it's getting widespread, and that's why I felt it's so exciting to join our orientation call. So please join if you feel like. And I'm looking forward to see everyone if you have time to join tomorrow in TEC Lounge. And with that, I will pass it on to Omega with Soul Sister.
Thank you. So we meet every Wednesday, 8 p.m. CT, 2 p.m. EST, and last week, if you switch one slide further, thanks. Last week, we had people from Tech Lab, LTF, PrimeDAO, who shared their work on inverter proposal, namely the agent-based simulation part, how they basically plug in agent behaviors, the engineering heavy side of it, and it was quite interesting also. A really great presentation done by Austin to see how that proposal, the name doesn't maybe not speak to everyone, but really that mechanism would help to actually get to a very cooperative working style through proposals, even which may seem at the moment rather competitive or yeah. So it's really interesting in and on itself, but also the presentation about how we try to actually assume behaviors of agents in simulations to actually come to system failure modes and so on, or see systemic behaviors. So that was cool. That was the engineering heavy part. And next week, we didn't get to it last time. So next week, we're going to be then focusing on the human part that Marit has proposed for Working Group Omega. That one of those groundworks that we do will be research for focus groups on topics that we have. And one is certainly the topic of these algorithmic policies that we as token engineers are developing, deploying, how they change our behaviors as participants, humans in a collective or not. So that is more the faculties, the ethical modes of reasoning part that we may go into. So please join next week, Wednesday. And we'll go more into that and how that will be part of the research groundwork for Working Group Omega, more on the ethics initiative side. Good. Then with that, I'll give the floor to Sean, Tech Lab, right?
Is that right? Can you guys hear me?
Yep, we hear you, and it's right.
Thanks, Solsista, for that. That was a really fun presentation by Austin, and the whole collaboration force focused around PrimeDAO and a lot of efforts from the TEC and Longtail and everyone involved there. That was thanks for hosting us in Omega. So for the Tech Labs, let's move forward on the slide there. So I've rejigged this slide a little bit. I think it's a bit easier to read. I've got a screenshot there from the proposal inverter model. I don't know if you can quite see the font. Yeah, make that bigger. Cool. So this is a digital twin of the proposal inverter. It's also meant to be a planning tool. So even post-production, when the proposal inverter is live and deployed, people can run this model and try different inputs to see how long the funds are going to last. And well, even we've got this is a pure mechanism built in Python, and we actually pass this into a CAD simulation and have agents playing around with it. So you can spec out your proposal inverter and then actually run it through a simulation as a planning tool for planning a project and planning the sort of accounting and hiring process for that project. And we'll just give you a quick overview here. If you're not familiar with the proposal inverter, we've got some parameters like the total funds, how much funds are currently allocated for this project, the required stake. So this is the sort of buy-in from a worker to get involved with a proposal. The epoch length in number of seconds. So we see there that's the length of roughly a month in number of seconds. This is how often payouts go out on a project. Minimum epochs is the minimum required length that a broker has to stay on a project in order to get their stake back. Allocation per epoch is the total funding being distributed to brokers per epoch. Minimum horizon is the minimum number of funds that have to be guaranteed. So here we're saying 7 months have to be guaranteed in the project to have it run. This gives insurance to the brokers that they know there's a certain duration that they have to join the project and continue getting paid. We have a minimum number of brokers on a project and a maximum number of brokers on a project. So if you've never heard of the proposal inverter before, this probably doesn't make any sense to you. You probably don't know what I'm talking about. But if you do have a rough idea of what we're talking about here, this is probably really exciting to see the params. And PrimeDAO is actually forking the TEC process of param parties. We have hosted one param party for speccing out what we call the dog food model for the proposal inverter, which is using the proposal inverter mechanism to fund the development of the proposal inverter. Is all happening right now. If you want to get involved on a deeper level, be sure to hop into the PrimeDAO Discord server and check out the development workshops happening every Wednesday, 9 a.m. PST, 6 p.m. Central European Time. And you can find links to that in the PrimeDAO Discord server. Look for the channel called Proposal Inverter. So that's all some fun stuff. Now let me remind you, we have the Tech Labs every Friday, 8 a.m. PST, 5 p.m. Central European Time, currently being hosted by MetaVerde, and this is a really exciting series on Solidity development. Be sure to hop in there. Starting March 4th, we're going to have a new series with ViViV and YGG teaming up to bring you Summoning a Discord Bot Army. We're going to see everything we can do with the Discord API through JavaScript, through Python, programming language agnostic. It's going to be a ton of fun. We're going to summon an army. What else we got here? TE Fundamentals course. This is really exciting. Pre-registrations are open. I haven't yet registered myself. I'm looking forward to. I heard from someone that even just the form is really cool. Someone said going through this form is a ton of fun. So be sure to check this out. And you know what? I was just talking to Angela, and she said that they've had 330 applicants pre-register for the TE Fundamentals course. So I think that's a good sign for our conviction voting process. I think this was a very successful proposal to pass, and I think everyone across the space is really excited for this course. So let's get that number up to 1,000 pre-registrations. Okay. Nice. Griff is going to be signed up. Okay, shout out to Longtail Financial and Block Science for hosting open office hours for token engineering. You can find those. Check out the Longtail Financial Discord, and Block Science hosts Zoom meetings every Thursday at 9 a.m. And you can see links to that in the Tech Labs calendar that's linked there at the bottom. Awesome. Thanks, Griff, for driving. And that's everything from the labs this week. I'll pass over to Chewy with comms.
Thanks, YGG. Well, in communications, we have just a bunch of meetings on Mondays. So if you want to contribute to a team, please join us. And we have our general communications call on Fridays. So praise again, Angie, very for this meme. I just found it like unexpected, but very relatable. So yeah, thank you for that, Angie. Some of the updates that we've had. We have our funding proposal up. Finally, it's in the forum. We are going through an advice process. Angela just gave us really good feedback and also contributed a lot to working on some of these clarifications. So yeah, if you want to like deep dive in our proposal, see how we're going to be working. Yeah, we need some of your points of view to go through this advice process. So yeah, jump on the forum, and we look forward to having your advice on this. Our D-Work platform is ready to go pretty much. We're almost ready. We just need for the funding proposals to go up in the gardens. And some of the updates that the teams have been working on lately is the TE Academy team is preparing a November campaign in how we're going to be covering the event, the participation of everyone there. The animation and video production is also doing pre-production for the quantificators tutorial. We have the follow-up newsletter in the works for the HubSpot team. Translations is still working on the first translations, but we're very anxious to have the funding proposal pushed so that we can have more magic happen there. And for the Twitter planning team, we are also promoting the AMA that the Common Stack is going to be having on the TEC, and also the presence of the community in November. So if you want to join any of these efforts, we would love to have you in our Monday calls. And with that, I'll pass it to Septi now in transparency.
Thank you, Chuy. Yeah, on transparency, we meet every Monday, 5 p.m. CT. Like, I missed that. Oh, yeah, it's updated, sorry. And yeah, this week, maybe if you can go to the next slide, Griff. Yeah, on this week, actually, we just had a document that was, it wasn't the Gitbook, but yeah, Ivy wanted to make everyone known about, all these meetings are being recorded, and we have some meeting protocols, terms and disclaimers. And we were on the transparency call, and you posted that forum post so everyone can also be aware and engage in the forum. Then also we were discussing it on the SoftGov call about transparency around the multi-sigs, as Livy said, and yeah, like the intention, like we have a document where we have like all the addresses and the names, but you know, we want to see if we want this information to be transparent, and then we were also keep working on the Dune analytics, and I would love like anyone if they could share feedback. Like we plan, you know, to gather all the feedback until Sunday, and then all the feedback we can gather, we can implement it into this dashboard to get all the data from the community on these next 3 months for the audit. And then big praise to Nate for the TC source. Like we updated the transparency documentation, and yeah, I also want to encourage all the working groups to put their documentation in the TC source. This is awesome, so everyone can see all the documentation, all the Google Docs, everything that the working group is working there. And yeah, I think this amazing job that Nate did helps a lot with transparency around documentation. And with that, I'll pass it to Legal. Griff.
Oh man, I almost forgot. I actually do get to present something. Good old legal. Legal working group happens every 2 weeks. We are still working on the conviction voting proposals, and we're going to put together a funding proposal. But the original idea with the funding proposal was just to put aside $10,000 and have it on the side in case a legal issue comes up, without needing to go through conviction voting for it, kind of a legal buffer. But we're going to revise it to also include a retroactive bonus for the previous contributors who, many of them don't actually have TEC tokens, yet they've been looking at our legal documentation for a long time. So we wanted to, and they really haven't been getting enough praise for it. So we were talking about including a retroactive distribution to Sean and Pablo and Anya and Marina and the other people who have given us legal advice throughout the last forever. So yeah, and if you know of anybody else who wants to help us with our legal backing and understand the crazy dynamics of the legal world when you have a bonding curve, it might be very interesting. Tell your friends, tell your lawyer friends. We want them to hang out with us. And with that, I'll pass it to Livia for the rewards working group.
Thanks, Griff. Yeah, we meet every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Europe time. And there's a lot of progress happening because we're planning the real quant for really soon. And that's going to happen either on Monday, February 21st, or in the following week. We're just seeing if we'll have enough people because of Eat Denver, if everyone who needs to be there can be there. But I think we can make this happen, and there's just a few bugs still remaining to be fixed, and Christopher is working on that. And there is a huge thing that was actually done, that so much praise to Nugget for leading that on. Nugget looked at all the praise, to see if there was any issue with people. There was a bug that Juanca's praise was not being checked mark. Like, when you praise, there's that green checkbox. Juanca, for some reason, was not receiving that green checkbox. But Nugget found out that the praise he was dishing was actually being computed. It was just a problem with the bot that was not giving that green mark. And then there was one praise from Acid Laser that wasn't computed. So there's still a few things to look at, but it seems like the problem is just on more like the surface of the bot, which is great because 5IV built a new bot. And this new bot seems to be working perfect, and it's going to be the one we're going to use. So I think we're like getting to that confidence point needed to start this first real quant. And the source grad is in progress. We're still waiting to hear from some people in the source grad community we had some questions that are still unsolved. So we're looking into that. Yeah, I just always link to this post because it explains how how source grad works and how it would work for us. And then after this call, we're going to have feedback for the trial quant. So Zaptim is hosting this call, and everyone who did quantify in the last two trial quants we had, please come to this call. Tell us how is the process for you, how we can improve, and we'll take notes of all this feedback and integrate before the real quant. And of course, we're all calling quantifiers. It's great to have as many people as possible. And it's really fun, this quantification process now. And if you want to check out the praise dashboard, it's linked in there and you can look around. Back to you, Griff.
Funny story, because it's back to you. The call right after this is going to be the reward system call. If you quanted, definitely please come and give feedback. Also, if you just want to see the inner workings of this praise system, the reward system is super cool. It's super pivotal. Imagine if we could have DAOs that just automate the rewards based off the work that is done, where we have the inputs come in, qualitative and quantitative. The qualitative get turned into quantitative, and out comes rewards. So individual people, payments can be automated, and people who do good work can be rewarded for it. This is the dream of the reward system. Definitely come to that call if you can. And also, if you're coming to Denver, DM us. Tell us. Let's throw some parties. It'll be fun. We'll definitely have a crazy week next week. I think Tam, Livia, Mitch, Lauren, and I are all in ETH Denver. So like half the stewards almost are in ETH Denver. I guess that's not even close to half, but still a lot. So we might have a little bit of a slow week. Watch out for that. But it'll still be fun. And thank you for all the stewards for taking major praise for taking up the slack for the rest of us. Oh, Chewy's going to be there too. So that's 6. Okay. But anyone.